You see how I did that, right? I want to just, first and foremost, my name is Shane Harris. I am the president and founder of the People's Association of Justice Advocates. We are a national civil rights organization and policy institute and think tank founded in the tradition of Dr. Martin Luther King. And I'm here because the work that the Grandparents Connection does is so important. I know some of you saw that I was accepting an award on behalf of the county and the city, and I know that I work twice as hard than mostly every city council member and every county supervisor in this county. I know that y'all know that. But, you know, I wanted to be here because I know the importance of this organization and the work that is done. We are celebrating National Foster Care Month. And this month, we are analyzing and taking a look at the hard data on where we have to go if we want to really deal with prevention. And this organization is doing the work of prevention in this county like no one else and addressing the culturally competent issues at the same time. So, you can clap. So, I wanted to be here because just a few days ago, my office requested some important data on child welfare services. If we took a look at last year from June 2023 to February of 2024, the data showed us that there were 638 new cases open of children going into child welfare. And out of those 638 cases, it's no coincidence that we're here at Saquon. 10% of those children taken in those 638 new cases were Native American children. And 19% of those new open cases were African American children. And the reason why I bring that up is because what the Grandparents Connection does is intervenes before a child would potentially be taken into child welfare services. Yeah. And I think that's so important because the disproportionate numbers of Black and Native American children speaks for itself on what we need to do. It's a county that says and touts that they're doing everything they can on equity and inclusion. But when you look at the numbers, you have more Black and brown children coming into child welfare than the last 20 years. We've got to do the prevention work that is necessary, and that is why the Grandparents Connection is so important. Grandparents work hard and intervene before a child gets into foster care, and that is what we've got to move toward if we're going to solve disproportionality and decrease the disproportionate gap of Black and brown children in our foster care system. So the reason why I bring that up is because Ms. Lambert and her husband and your connection was at the kickoff of National Foster Care Month on May 6th. And we're very serious about advocating and looking at the measures that you all have been pushing for in regard to grandparents being treated like foster parents. The work that grandparents do is even more critical. And if the county is to make a pledge to decrease the disproportionate gap, then services that our grandparents are providing ought to be afforded. That medical care ought to be afforded. Those resources ought to be afforded. That monthly check and that support from the county to support these kids. So with that being said, everything we can to open more opportunities and doors for the grandparents across our region who are working so desperately hard to prevent our children from entering foster care. And so I brought a proclamation with me from the People's Association of Justice Advocates, and the Office of the President, Shane Harris, presents this proclamation declaring today Grandparents Connection Day in the County of San Diego. And I want y'all to know we understand the issue. We recognize the grandparents and caregivers across our region who raise their family members' children due to displacements and absent parents. You intervene when no one else will. The Grandparents Connection has created a space for grandparents and community to advocate for measures to give these caregivers and grandparents the same rights as foster parents. This day is declared Grandparents Connection Day in San Diego, California on this day, May 19, 2024. Signed by me, Shane Harris, the president and founder. We love you, Ms. Lambert. We thank you all for your work. Thank you.
Eyes open.
Eyes open, man. Right here. And thank you, Shane Harris.